Rolling.
And welcome everybody to day 2 of the Charity First Handicapping Challenge here at Santa Anita. We had a great opening day yesterday. My man Ruben won, taking down $420 and moving on to round 2. We did this last meet and it was very, very successful. And hopefully it'll be just as successful and as entertaining as it was then. I want to thank everybody who's watching us live. I want to thank everybody who's going to be watching us on replays. Thank you for watching. And we've got 2 excellent handicappers, 2 of my favorites, and they're going to bring some incredible information. Tyler, what's going on this morning? A lot of excitement here at Santa Anita.
Man, we're back. We're running at Santa Anita. I'm excited. Oh, did you mean the other Tyler? Sorry.
I meant the other Tyler. Yeah, we got to
clarify that.
Hey,
I realize that.
You're the star, bro. Let's start with Tyler Fausto.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just here to fill a void. You're the star, Hoffman. Don't worry. All right. So yeah, today at Santa Anita Park, we have a great race card. This weekend, though, which I know Tyler Hoffman over there will attest to, we have a super qualifier for the NHC, which is great. One of the largest tournaments right before the NHC season ends, which I believe is the end of January. So it's definitely an opportunity to take advantage of. It's $1,500 buy-in. These tournaments that we have that are larger buy-ins, you can actually play on horse tourneys to earn your way in. So it's actually a beautiful thing. You go on horse tourneys, you can play a $50 tournament, earn your way into a qualifying tournament, and get your way all the way to $1,500 buy-in tournament. It's amazing. I know Tyler will talk about that a little bit too. He's a big tournament player, and that's kind of where a lot of his success in horse racing comes from. So yeah, thanks for letting me talk about that, George.
And our success comes from you, our fantastic fans. Thank you guys so much. Opening weekend was just spectacular. As I mentioned in yesterday's show, the opening day handle record was $20,491,000. We crushed it with over $23 million wagered, and that's for because of you, our fantastic fans. And we want to thank you. We want to thank everybody who was involved here at Santa Anita as well. The racing office, Chris Merce, what a fantastic job. Publicity, of course, the marketing department was working tirelessly, and everything seemed to work out perfectly for a fantastic opening day. Now, as I mentioned, last year, this Charity First Handicapping Challenge was very successful. All the money raised, we're going to be raising money for Karma, and it's going to be fantastic. Now, one of the bonuses is that if one of our handicappers turns his $300 bankroll into more than $1,000, we'll get more money to the charity. So certainly we're hoping for them to swing for the fences and have a great time as well. Each one of our handicappers are going to get $300 to start with. They're going to bet a $100 to win on any horse during the day, $100 in exactas, either a straight ice cold exacta or a part wheel ice exacta, and a daily double, also $100, either a straight daily double or a $50 part wheel daily double as well. It's time to introduce our contestants, and I want to start with the one representing Team George O, because this is basically an elimination thing. If you win, you move on to the next round. If you lose, well, that's it. You're out of the tournament. But hopefully, my team will continue to win, and we're going to start now with my man Gavin Gallardo. Gavin is one of my favorites of all time. Been handicapping his whole life. I think he's like 12, but he's been handicapping his whole life. He's a young whippersnapper who some of the young up-and-coming handicappers that we have, much like Tyler Hoffman. Gavin, all he does is text me, "Hey, George, I hit the pick 5 again." Oh, wow, what else is new? The guy just, all he does is win, 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 win. He's also the grandson of one of my favorite people in the entire world who we lost this past year, and I think it was August 17th, Tommy Heller. Tommy Heller, for you guys that know, you might know him, Tyler. He loved playing in the handicapping contest, a staple on the handicapping contest circuit. One of my favorite men of all time. He just has a generous heart, a wonderful man. I loved him to death. And he owned Paul's Place, which is still, you guys, you're still doing over there at Paul's Place, right, Gavin?
Yeah,
and you guys got a fantastic, what is it, the 4th of July, where they have a Cinnabon eating contest. It's just fantastic. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Gavin. Tell us about Paul's Place, and tell us how we're going to win today.
I'm Gavin Gallardo. Believe it or not, I'm not 12. I'm 33. But what? Yeah, I've been going to the track since I was like, as long as I can remember with my grandpa. You know, I lived with him for 20 years, and he qualified for the NHC 3 times. He's always been big into the handicapping, big into the tournaments. I mean, TVG's on our channel. I mean, nonstop. I mean, it never ends at our house. It's always been about horse racing. Always been about who do you like, who do you like. He's always got his form up. I got my form. We got the workouts. I mean, it's big hole missing without him for sure. You know, so it's
for sure.
We're always going back and forth with he likes this, I like that, what he likes, what I like, his angles, and so yeah, he ran our restaurant, our family restaurant, for 30 years. He was the owner. Now me and my mom have been kind of taking it over, and it's in Mission Viejo, so we're right there in between two off-track beddings and OC Tavern and Sammy's. So we got a lot of customers who come in and we're handicapping friends of my grandfather's, and just always someone to talk horses with there. So it's been a fun time having that track, and fun time growing up and seeing how this industry runs, and just, meeting people like George, and, it's been a really fun time.
And you got that, it's so much fun. The Cinnabon eating contest, once a year. It's just an amazing thing to see these people eat these Cinnabons, which are the best Cinnabons I've ever tasted.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. George comes down and MCs it for us, and we have good sized cinnamon rolls. They're probably like 10 inches in diameter, and people come from all over the place because we give out a cash prize. So we give out a cash prize. We got people that are coming in from all out of state. I mean, we had one lady, the lady who's won it 2 years in a row. She's ate 19 in 12 minutes, and these are good sized cinnamon rolls. So she's no joke.
Well, let's get to Tyler Hoffman, who bet 19 pick fives in 12 minutes. He's done that. He's just he's spectacular. He was the champion of our handicapping challenge, the first ever last year. So Gavin, you got a lot of work cut out for you.
Yeah,
Tyler's
man, I'm like
fantastic.
the 16 seed in this thing now, so it's like
Wow.
the champ. So.
Look at this. Look at you guys setting me up.
You've
I'm
got
not
a
buying
fantastic site. You guys, he's going to talk about it a bit more, but Trip No Pros, it has to be one of the best handicapping tools available to all the handicappers out there. I know there's a lot of handicapping tools, workout reports, the racing form, the sheets, third graph, whatever it is, but they've got a wonderful, really hard, they have to put in a lot of hard work where they give you trip notes on every horse at various tracks. And it is really indispensable, not just problems within the race, but also intentions of jockeys and so forth. It is fantastic. It's tripnopros.com. I highly recommend it. And to talk a little bit more about that and how he's going to defend his championship, let's welcome on to the show, Tyler Hoffman.
Thank you for the warm introduction, George. I really appreciate it, especially all those kind words. Trip No Pros is obviously an adventure that Benny Southstreet and I started together, something we're both very, very passionate about. We're trip note handicappers by nature, and we thought there was probably a way to share this information with other handicappers and help create a product in the sport that will advance it and move it forward. We live in a day and age where there's not a whole lot of value left in this game. The computer players have kind of taken that out of all the pools. Trip note handicapping is kind of one of those last things that's left to still find value in. You alluded to it earlier. Horse comfort and jockey intent are two things that we specifically focus and highlight on with each and every trip note. When we're talking about horse comfort, we're talking body language. We're talking about the comfortable nature of the trip. With jockey intent, it's not just about whether it was a poor ride or a poor tactical decision. We're also looking for great moves by jockeys. Was there a reason that this jockey moved this horse forward in this particular trip because of his intentions? Or was it simply a prep? Was it a learning experience? Those are all very, very valuable things. And I was kind of laughing when you mentioned that you missed the pick 5 yesterday, George. I'm a little disappointed. I know you love TNP, but you didn't have our trip note on St. Helena for Mike Pipey? 14-1. Big excuse trip we had yesterday. Where were you?
Our horse was by much the best. He just, your horse won in the end. But our horse ran into so much trouble. You better put him on your trip notes for next time.
Yeah, and I already know what my comment's going to be. Went by the Arboretum on his way home.
Yeah, you did.
He was that far away. But going back to Trip No Pros, we're really, really excited about it. Right now, we're covering Gulfstream and Santa Anita. We're offering cards for $9 per day per card. And in Gulfstream right now, we have it in both English and Spanish. So we're trying to make sure the product is available to everybody that enjoys horse racing, everybody likes handicapping. Shoot us over an email. You can find us on Twitter. My handle's underneath my name right now. Learn a little bit more about a product, try it out, see if you like it. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with what you find.
I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised with what you find. And not surprisingly, it is a fantastic product. And I know you guys put in a lot of hard work. And I recommend everybody to go visit that site. And all right, Tyler, let's get into the contest. We ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get rolling.
All right.
All right. Chappie over here cheering his team on.
Chappie's cheering his team on. He's like, let's go Team Chappie, Tyler. And we certainly do have two very sharp players today. Gavin, let's start with you. You got $100 to win. Where are you going and why?
I went race 3. I went with the 5-horse Translate. It'll probably end up being a chalk horse. I mean, I'm sure. I just watched the replays on the horse. I saw, you got caught late at Belmont on his last one. I mean, that horse looked like a sure winner on the way home, and then got just absolutely caught at the end. So I think the layoff will be a good rest, and that's one of the angles my grandpa always stuck after. So if he had a horse after a good layoff and they were racing good, and then they had a huge layoff, he would come back to that every time. So that was something I thought caught my eye. That number 5 Translate in race 3.
All right, number 5 Translate. Trainer Falcone, who I had a chance to speak with him. I think I mentioned that last time. And he is bringing in a whole bunch of head of horses in here, going after that fabulous Sunshine bonus that we are offering. And that's one of the reasons we've got so many nice fields. And I think we're going to have nice fields throughout the meet. Also, 10% increase in purses. I'm telling you what, the racing department really is going all out. And what a fantastic promotion that was. Translate comes in here from Belmont for Falcone. Talk about a horse sitting on a win. He was second. He's knocking on the door, and the door might just open wide today. $100 to win. DVD aboard for Falcone. Looks like a good bet in race number 3. Tyler Hoffman, you got $100 to win on one horse. Where are you going and why?
I'm going to go to race 6 at Santa Anita today. But before I talk about that, your pick, Gavin, is a really smart one on Translate. The horse that beat Translate, and that was a disgusting beat, was a 97 to 1 shot that day. That 97 to 1 shot came back and ran a game second in its next start, losing to Duopoly. What did Duopoly do in her next start? Wins the Grade 1 American Oaks wire to wire. So Translate's probably pretty solid on today's card, especially for the early pick 5. Going to my pick, Santa Anita Park race 6 is a straight maiden race at 6 furlongs. I'm going to go to the number 6 horse, the Little H Man, at 6 to 1 morning line. It's a second-time starter for Andy Mathis. Broke from the rail on debut, and you'll notice in the PP comments it says steadied at the start. That's actually not accurate. What happened was his head was turned to the side, and he broke about 3 lengths slow. Today they get off the rail, get a little bit of an outside post draw. I'm expecting we're going to see a little bit more speed. You can see these workouts that Andy Mathis puts in. At Golden Gate over the Tapeta, typically you don't get very fast works. Yet this horse comes back with a 1:01 bullet, a 36-3, a 1:01. But notice the where he finished on the workouts for the day. That was the second best out of 68 workers that morning on December 19th, and then finishes it off with another bullet minute and 2/5. I think we're going to see improved speed from him. And keep in mind, there's a common rival that returns from this race, and that's the Rail Runner Star Racer for Joel Rosario. That horse is going to be bet off the board today for a very troubled trip. The thing is, if you watch the head-on, it actually wasn't that bad of a trip. The horse just refused to go through the rail and steadied himself. He was no doubt best in the race, but now he draws the rail. So if he doesn't break sharp and he's stuck on the rail again, now we're ending up with a vulnerable favorite in a position on the racetrack that he doesn't like. So I think we're going to get a little bit of a higher price on the Little H-Man today. So I think we'll get somewhere in probably the 8-9 to 1 range. So 100 to win on the 6 is my selection.
100 to win on the 6 for Tyler Hoffman. He is the H-Man as well, and he is the defending champion. Fausto, I noticed that Ricky Gonzalez is the jockey. He has really impressed me in his riding here at Santa Anita. What are your thoughts, Fausto, on my man Ricky Gonzalez?
Ricky Gonzalez was great upstate too, just like Abel Cedillo. Some of these upstate invaders have come down here and actually done quite well for themselves. It's quite impressive seeing jockeys come from Golden Gate. We've seen jockeys come through our jockey colony left and right and leave just as quickly. But for these guys to stick around and still compete at a high level, that's amazing.
Yeah, we've got a solid jockey colony. Another reason why this is the great race place. Got great horses, great opportunities, betting opportunities, a great wagering menu, and fantastic jockey colony from Rosario to Gonzalez to Pratt and, Hall of Famers like Mike Smith. It is just an ideal situation and what makes Santa Anita truly the great race place. Gavin, before we get to your exacta, tell us about what is your favorite angle? What is the your go-to angle that you love betting?
I didn't used to like it when I first started, but I do like horses off of a layoff. If they're working good off a layoff, and sometimes you can catch a good overlay on that, you can catch better odds than you would have up before. People think, oh, maybe the horse needs a race or maybe the horse needs some time, but a lot of times it was just that they needed that rest and they needed that, that little bit of energy left to get to the finish line. I mean, I look at a horse like Translate. That horse lost by a couple steps. I mean, he'll need the rest, I feel like.
All right, fantastic. All right, you got $100, an exacta. You can either bet a straight exacta or a box or a part wheel. Where are you going with your $100 exacta play and why?
I'm actually going with my my exacta in the Joe Hernandez race. I got the 8 Chaos Theory on top, and then I got Texas Wedge and Blitzkrieg underneath. So I like Chaos Theory in this race. I think it should fit the distance pretty well for him. I mean, I think coming in, he doesn't have any races really under that distance too hot, but I like Chaos Theory on top. I think Rispoli, I mean, he's a great rider. He'll have him in the right spot at the end. And Blitzkrieg and Texas Wedge, I think, should be right there. So it was the exacta was the toughest one for me, I thought. I mean, there was a couple places I wanted to go with it, but I just stuck with Chaos Theory.
Chaos Theory, number 8 in race number 7, the Joe Hernandez over the 1 and the 6. Chaos Theory, a really game win. In fact, he's won 3 out of his last 4, and Rispoli knows him pretty well by now. I think the added distance is certainly going to aid him, and it's going to be a very, very interesting race. One of the new things here at Santa Anita is that new turf chute, and it is getting rave reviews from the jockeys, the trainers, everybody. So it's really nice that it's done so well. And one of the added improvements and added benefits of riding and running here, it's at the great race place that it is, Santa Anita. Tyler, interesting feature here in the stakes race. All the runners had to be taken off Lasix. So they're all going to be running, many of them, for the first time in a long time. And that's an interesting twist to this race.
I assume you're talking to me. So, or which one? You forgot last names. It's like football.
I know. I got your last name.
Yeah. Here, it's interesting. I mean, this is something that we pushed hard for in the past few years, and it was a method that took a little bit of time. Obviously, you don't want to stop the medications at a high rate just to wean the horses off of them. And this is going to be interesting to see how the horses react to this. I think it's great benefit for the overall industry as a whole. And today's definitely going to be one of those things that we experienced something new here, but it's definitely for the better.
All right, moving on to Mr. Hoffman. You got $100 exacta. What race you're going with, and how are you going to play it?
We're going to go to the last race on the card, which is the other maiden race. It's 6 furlongs on the turf. So this is Santa Anita Park, race number 9. And we're going to do a $50 exacta box with the rail runner, number 1, Gregory's Pride, and the number 6, A Man of My Stature. I think both of these runners are eligible to improve. Running today, obviously, Gregory's Pride, second start of his career. Broke a little bit slow last time, got into gear late, failed to switch leads in the steep stretch and kind of idled and hung on, finishing third by a neck. It was kind of a wild scramble of a finish. This one's got a lot of turf breeding to it. I think we'll correct that lead change issue. Working pretty well coming back. 4-1 probably feels like a pretty fair value, but I think that one's going to run his race. My top pick in the race, though, and the way I'm probably going to attack it just from a wagering standpoint on this card, is the number 6 horse, The Man of My Stature. Take your pen and just draw a line through the debut on the synthetic on September 27th, and then the race that was removed from the turf, which went back on synthetic on November 1st. Those 2 races meant nothing. Now take a look at the turf race in between on October 17th. That was a very, very nice effort. It was clear that this runner likes the grass. That was a race It was an 8-horse field, but 7 runners in that race were first-time starters in there. It's a very strung out field. This one broke a little bit awkward, rushed up, challenged the early pace setter before tracking off of that one in a pretty quick fraction. So you can see that 44 and 4. And keep in mind, this is over a good turf course. So that really means he was blazing out there. Obviously goes to Peter Miller today, which typically Peter Miller runners have speed. So I think this one will show plenty of speed. It would be forwardly placed, if not clear off in this field. And I think we'll run really, really well. So we're going to do a $50 exacta box. Number 1, Gregory's Pride, and number 6, A Man of My Stature, Santa Anita Park, race number 9.
1-6 in race number 9, A Man of My Stature, also qualifies for that sunshine bonus. And certainly when Peter Miller goes to Pratt, sort of tips his hat, because when they get together here at Santa Anita, they're winning at a 36% clip. So excellent choice there, A Man of My Stature. And hopefully you guys will get some money there for our fans, because a lot of the people who watch this are also going to be betting along with you guys. So hopefully you'll do well. Tyler, today on First Bet, any exciting promotions this whole weekend?
This weekend we have a 10% rebate, so it's pretty beautiful.
Wow, that's good.
So if you bet on First Bet, you bet Santa Anita Park, you have a 10% rebate. I believe it's up to $50 per day. So if you go on First Bet, you go down to the More section and you click on the promotion link, it will send you right there to the page. So every weekend, every day, whenever you're playing, you can look right there and see all the promotions that we have going on. So that's definitely a nice little page to check out whenever you're playing.
Yeah, definitely go. We encourage you to sign on. Go to firstbet.com, or you can download the app. Easy to wager on First Bet, and certainly some great promotions all weekend. In fact, all be long. So sign aboard. If you don't have a First Bet account, open one. We got some bonuses as well, and hopefully you'll start winning money. Hopefully we'll start winning money with the Daily Double. Gavin, before we get to your Daily Double pick, one of the highlights to me of the meet so far has been the tremendous performance that was put up by Charlatan on opening day, Bob Baffert. Gavin, what were your thoughts on Charlatan that day?
That horse looked like a freak. I mean, I knew Nashville getting out there. Charlatan was too close the whole time, and I knew that it was going to – I mean, it was just a matter of time before. But when he passed him in a couple steps. I mean, couldn't believe it. I was just, wow. That was a wowing performance, to say the least. I mean, when you can beat a horse like Nashville like that was pretty impressive.
That was impressive. Impress us with your Daily Double skills, if you would, Gavin. You got a $100 Daily Double or a $50 part wheel. Where are you going and why?
So I got race 8. I have the number 2 Eel Point. I watched the replays on that horse. His last race at Keeneland. Had the horse in a nice spot on the rail right there. When it opened up, he kicked clear by, I think it won by 8 at the end. I mean, he really went through, really won by a good amount. So I like that horse coming back in race 8. And I got it with the 1 in the last race, Gregory's Pride, as Tyler pressed on. I thought that horse had a real good look in the last race. And the first-time starter, the 8, Rock Your World, John Sadler. I saw it's working real well in the workout reports. Looks like a good spot for a first-time starter here. And I mean, there's a couple contenders in that race, so I wouldn't say it's sure thing. But I like Rock Your World in that race. But I think Gregory's Pride is actually my top pick in that race, I would say. Yeah, that horse is also working well too. So I like the draw on the rail. I mean, I think it should be a nice race for that horse.
Yeah, excellent bullet work for Gregory's Pride last time out, and sure looks like one of the major contenders in that race. Before we get to you, Mr. Hoffman, we talked about Charlatan looking impressive. Another Bob Baffert runner is going to be running tomorrow that sure looked like ultra impressive. A future superstar. Life is Good. What do you think of that runner that we're going to be seeing here live tomorrow at the Great Race Place?
Well, I think Larry Colmus put it best when he said life is real, real good, as that horse was coming down the lane last time. I mean, that was a freak fast. Couldn't make any knocks of it when watching the tape. Obviously, looks like the horse to beat in the Sham Stakes tomorrow. Would be very surprised if he gets beat. I don't think 2 turns is going to be a problem. Now, with that said, as one of the favorites in the Kentucky Derby pool right now, that seems a bit premature. Let's see if he can get more than just 6.5 furlongs or a mile tomorrow. But obviously has a very, very promising future. That's not a betting race for me. I don't think it'd be a betting race for most people, but it certainly is a great race to watch as a fan. And I think first and foremost, that's what we all are in this sport.
I'm a fan of Tyler Hoffman. I'm a big fan. And I want him to make me some money on the Daily Double. Tell us where you're going and why.
We're going to go to the same race that Gavin just did. Going to go to race 8. I liked everything that he said about EO Point. That is one of the runners on this card, one of the few runners I thought that had a very nice horse comfort. Was obviously much the best sitting in behind. But I'm going to go a different direction than Gavin since he took EO Point. I'm going to go to the outside and go to Dark Prince for Bob Baffert on the cutback. Last time went out there and set the fractions, was headed around the far turn and passed pretty easily. I mean, there's nothing fancy about the trip note for that runner. With that said, though, there was a lot of speed and paper in that race, and he didn't figure to really stick around late. The cutback in distance to the 1 turn 6 furlong distance today, I think, is going to be a perfect fit for him. He draws well on the outside. I think this is the type of runner that will sit a 3 to 4 wide tracking trip, maybe a couple lengths off the pace. And as some of the early speedsters start to falter, this one takes over. Keep in mind, the winner of the race that Dark Prince exits is Kiss Today Goodbye. Kiss Today Goodbye came back and upset the field in the Grade 2 San Antonio last weekend. So kind of potentially a better than looked race than what appears on paper. And I think 6-1 is a very fair value. I love the fact Joel Rosario hops aboard. So we're going to start off our $50 double in race 8 with the 9 Dark Prince, and we're going to go to both runners that I mentioned earlier for my exacta box in race 9. The number 1 horse Gregory's Pride and the number 6 A Man of My Stature. So $50 double. Yeah, 9 over 1/6.
All right, fantastic. Now, in case there happens to be a tie at the end of this, we need a tiebreaker. So we're going to go to race 1. Each one of you is going to pick a horse, and whoever, if you end up tie, we're going to figure out, you pick a horse, and if your horse beats the other one's horse, you move on to round number 2. Tyler, Fausto, how about doing rock, paper, scissors for to see who gets to pick first? Ready?
All right. Don't blow this for me.
Rock, paper, scissors. You win. Tyler Hoffman, you get first pick in race number 1. Who are you going with for the tiebreaker?
Okay. I'm going to go with number 1 goalie. I'm going to point something out to you guys, which apparently Gavin was going to take as well. But I just think this is a bizarre coincidence. My first bet of 2020, January 1st, 2020, was Santa Anita Park, race number 1, horse number 1, goalie. So my first bet of 2021 will be Santa Anita Park, race 1, number 1, goalie. One more time.
All right,
you're welcome for that Rochambeau win.
Yeah,
I love you for that.
Who are you going with the first race for the tiebreaker? It probably won't come down to this, but just in case.
I'm going to go with the 6, 3 a.m. Eddie Truman, Umberto Rispoli. I was going to take goalie, but you lost the rock, paper, scissors for me. So.
I read your face, Gavin. I knew who you were going with. We don't just do trip notes for horses. We do trip notes for people, too.
Yeah, I had that one. So I literally was looking at my Equibase, and I had it right there. I'm like, yeah, that's the horse. Because I remember looking at it, and I'm like, that was the horse I liked. And I'm like, oh, man. So it's all good. I'll be on it with you. I'll be betting it with you, Tyler. So
beautiful.
Well, thank you guys both so very, very much. Tyler Hoffman, once again, tell them about Trip No Pros.
You can head to dashboard.tripnopros.com, pick up your $9 Trip Note cards for both Santa Anita and Gulfstream.
Gavin, how about, horse racing is exciting, but you've got a wonderful place there, Paul's Place. I love eating there. Tell us a little bit more about where it is and how we can get there.
Mission Viejo, you take the 5 freeway south from Santa Anita or north from Del Mar. You get off at Crown Valley. It's right up the road, right before, it's not too far past the Mission Hospital. So right there in the Mission Viejo, we're open 6 a.m. to 1 every day. I'm there early every morning to open. So
and
see someone there.
And I think Tommy, who owned it, very smart. He was like, I'm closing this at 1 because I got to go bet some horses.
Yeah. Well, he knew Del Mar was supposed to have 2 o'clock, right?
Yeah, we always got off in time to watch the races. So
happy New Year to all our great fans. Very, very happy New Year. 2020 was a pretty tumultuous year, but we're looking for great things in 2021. We started off with some great handicappers. Just a wonderful 2021 to all our fans. And we'll be back tomorrow right here with the Charity First Handicapping Challenge. Have a great day and Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Good luck, Tyler.
Good luck, Gavin.